Hey everyone, and welcome back to our story corner. Are you ready for an adventure so big it'll shake the very ground you stand on? Today we're journeying to a place beyond the misty mountains, a place whispered about in legends but never seen. Grab your imaginary backpacks, because we're following a young boy named Leo and his very special friend, Pip, into the mysterious land of giants. Our story begins in a quiet little cottage nestled at the edge of the Whispering Woods. This was home to Leo, a boy with a heart full of courage and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. And of course, there was Pip. Pip wasn't your ordinary pet. He looked a bit like a squirrel, but his fur shimmered with all the colors of a rainbow, and when he was excited, tiny, harmless sparks would dance from his tail. Pip could also change his size, from as small as a ladybug to as big as a pony, a secret only Leo knew. One sunny morning, while chasing a particularly sparkly sunbeam, Pip suddenly stopped. His nose twitched, and his rainbow fur bristled. He chittered excitedly, pointing his tiny paw towards a part of the woods Leo had never explored before. A strange, sweet scent, like honey and mountain rain, was drifting on the breeze. Leo's sense of adventure tingled. "What is it, Pip? What did you find?" Pip just chirped and zipped ahead, his sparkling tail a beacon in the dappled sunlight. Leo, never one to back down from a mystery, grinned and followed his magical friend deeper into the unknown. The trees grew taller and older the further they went. The path they were on wasn't a path at all, but a faint trail marked by oddly large single footprints. Each one was as big as Leo's bed. The air grew thick with the sweet, earthy smell, and soon they heard a sound, a low humming melody that seemed to come from the earth itself. They pushed through a curtain of thick, mossy vines and gasped. Before them lay a valley unlike any they had ever imagined. Everything was enormous. The flowers were as big as umbrellas, the mushrooms towered over them like cottages, and a river flowed nearby, its water as clear as glass, with pebbles the size of boulders. And in the distance they saw them. Giants. They weren't scary, roaring monsters from fairy tales. These giants were gentle, their movements slow and graceful. They were tending to a garden of colossal vegetables, their humming creating the beautiful melody that filled the valley. One giantess, with hair like woven moonlight and a kind smiling face, was carefully watering a carrot the size of a small boat. Leo's heart pounded, a mix of fear and utter amazement. He hid behind a mushroom cottage, pulling a trembling Pip close. But Pip wasn't scared. He seemed drawn to the giant's song. Before Leo could stop him, Pip, in a flash of rainbow light, grew to the size of a large dog and trotted out into the open, his tail wagging and sparking. The giantess watering the carrot noticed him. Her humming stopped. She knelt down, her head still high above the trees. Her voice was like the soft rumble of a distant, friendly thunder. "Well, hello there, little rainbow spark. What brings you to our quiet home?" Leo held his breath. The giantess wasn't angry. She was gentle. Taking a deep breath, Leo decided to be brave. He stepped out from behind the mushroom. "He's with me," he said, his voice a little shaky but clear. "My name is Leo, and this is Pip. We followed a wonderful smell and a beautiful sound." The giantess smiled, a warm and radiant expression that made the whole valley seem brighter. "I am Alara," she said, "and you have found your way to a place hidden from your world. Welcome, little ones, to the Valley of the Gentle Giants." Alara explained that her people had long ago chosen to live apart from the smaller world, protecting their peaceful way of life. The sweet smell was from their giant nectar blooms, and the humming was their way of helping the plants grow strong. She invited Leo and Pip to stay for a while. It was the most incredible day of Leo's life. He helped a young giant named Kale stack pebbles in the river, each one a challenge to move. He learned that the giants ate giant berries that tasted like sunshine and laughter. He even got to ride on Alara's shoulder, seeing the entire valley spread out below him like a giant's beautiful map. From his high perch, Leo saw something shimmering at the heart of the valley, a giant, crystalline tree whose branches pulsed with a soft golden light. Alara saw him looking. "That is the heartwood," she explained softly. "It is the source of all life in our valley. Its magic keeps our home hidden and helps our gardens flourish." But as she spoke, A shadow fell over them. The beautiful humming of the giants faltered, replaced by a worried murmur. The golden light of the heartwood was flickering, dimming. Kale rushed over, his young face etched with worry. Elera, the heartwood is fading. The great spring that feeds its roots is running dry. The giants gathered around the tree, their gentle faces filled with sorrow. Without the heartwood's magic, their valley would be exposed, and their peaceful existence would wither away. Leo knew he had to do something. He looked at Pip, who was looking at a series of small, dark caves at the base of the mountain, from where the spring was supposed to flow. Pip chittered, his nose twitching urgently. "The caves!" Leo exclaimed, pointing. "Maybe something is blocking the water." Elara looked down at the caves, which were far too small for any giant to enter. "We cannot fit," she said sadly. "The passage is too narrow." Leo looked at Pip, and an idea sparked in his mind. "But we can," he declared. "Pip and I can go." Elara hesitated, worried for their safety, but seeing the determination in Leo's eyes and the brave sparks flying from Pip's tail, she nodded. "Be careful, little hero," she rumbled softly. With a final encouraging pat from Elara's enormous finger, Leo and Pip ventured into the dark cave. Pip shrank down to the size of a mouse, his rainbow fur casting a soft, colorful glow that lit their way. The tunnel was damp and twisted, but they pressed on, following the faint trickle of water. Finally, they reached a wider cavern. The source of the blockage was clear. A massive pile of rocks and roots had collapsed, creating a dam that held the great spring captive. It was too much for Leo to move on his own. He felt a pang of despair. But then Pip scurried onto the pile of rocks and began to glow brighter and brighter. He focused all his magical energy, and with a brilliant flash of rainbow light, he grew. Not just to the size of a dog or a pony, but to the size of a bear, then an elephant, pushing against the rocks with all his might. Leo joined in, throwing his small weight against the smaller rocks, dislodging them one by one. With a mighty groan, the rockfall shifted. A trickle of water became a gush, and with a final mighty shove from the giant-sized Pip, the dam broke. A torrent of pure, clean water surged past them, down the tunnel towards the heartwood. They scrambled out of the cave just in time to see the water reach the roots of the giant tree. The heartwood drank deeply, and its golden light, which had been a faint flicker, exploded into a brilliant, steady glow, stronger than before. The valley was bathed in its warm radiance, and a joyful, booming cheer rose from the giants. Elara gently scooped up a muddy but triumphant Leo and Pip. "You did it, Leo! You and your magical friend saved our home!" she exclaimed, her voice filled with gratitude. The giants celebrated with a feast of the sweetest berries and the biggest, most delicious vegetables. Leo and Pip were the guests of honor, hailed as heroes. As the sun began to set, painting the giant sky with shades of orange and purple, it was time for them to go. Elara walked them to the edge of the valley. "You will always be welcome here, Leo, friend of the giants," she said, placing a single luminous seed from the heartwood into his hand. "Plant this, and you will always have a little piece of our magic with you." Leo promised to keep their secret and to visit again. With a final happy chitter from Pip and a wave to their giant new friends, they headed home, their hearts full. Leo knew he would never forget his adventure in the incredible, magical, and truly gentle land of the giants. And that's where our story ends for today. What an amazing journey. It just goes to show that no matter how small you are, a brave and kind heart can make the biggest difference in the world. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you loved this adventure, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more magical stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.